And here we go, live. Wow, how exciting. Kia ora koutou. Hello, everyone. How are you? We are streaming live from Uawa, Tolaga Bay. And today we have a special guest with us, the lovely Deb Armstrong. She is from an organisation called Zeald. They assist SMEs, organizations, sole traders, to help them get their website or e-commerce site up and running to create online business. Now, before I start, just in case some of you who don't know me, my name is Lily from Tolaga Bay. I am running the Tolaga Bay Innovation, which is a social enterprise that we've created within the Tolaga Bay Inn, which is an historical inn on the East Coast. The innovation side is all about creating our own incomes online. We believe in self-empowerment. We believe in entrepreneurship. That is my passion, and that is where I believe we can have mana motuhake, self-empowerment. So in saying that, the online journey is being embraced worldwide. We all know the effects of COVID, how they've changed the way things are done, and it just makes sense to understand and learn new ways of doing things in order to create our own livelihoods from our homelands. So with saying that, I'd like to share some of the wonderful expertise and advice that Deb can share with us. First of all, I would just like to say, kia ora, Deb. Thank you so much for being here. Would you like to introduce your lovely self and tell us who you are and where you're from?
Kia ora. Thanks, Lily. So I'm Deb Armstrong. Well, you can probably tell that by my name, Mabel. And I am from an area called Pakaraka in the far north. We moved here 6 years ago. I had this great idea about going into semi-retirement, work hard, get a bit of land, live off the land. And that worked for a while, and then I realised, I'm kind of a bit bored. And then COVID hit, and I got a call from my old boss to see if I'd like to partake in a social enterprise they were doing, which I'll get to in a minute. And I was like, do I really want to? I'm really come a bit bored, but I'm really happy on the land, and I've got my 6 grandbabies and my 3 dogs, my 20 chickens, my 1 cat, my gardens. But I thought I'd listen to what he had to say. And it turned out that I ended up going back to work for Zeald. I'd been away from them for a couple of years. But at the same time, I was training to be an ambulance officer. So I actually now have 2 jobs and a website. So I guess that's three jobs. So the whole idea of semi-retirement was really kind of ridiculous because I never did. So I'm busier than ever, but loving everything that I do. So I thought, if it's okay with you, I've got a presentation because I tend to get really passionate about these things, and I go off track. There's a couple of key points I'd like to get across to our listeners today. So if you don't mind, I'll just go through the presentation now. And I thought it'd be really good just to give a bit of background and a bit of context, because I think in theory everyone knows what an e-commerce website is, right? Because we've all, bought those cool shoes or a tractor or whatever, or we've always, we've got Trade Me, we've got so many. So yeah, I think the concepts everyone understands, but I think, one of the things, it's not just what you see on your computer screen. There's a lot of work and that goes in behind that, which I will touch on. But the initiative that I spoke about a little bit earlier with Zeald, is, I can go to the next slide, was looking at how can we de-risk businesses getting online, because prior to COVID, it was, probably the cheapest one you could get. I mean, there's some cheap ones, but they don't really function that well. But, say a good website for a small business still would have been probably 3 or 4 grand. And when you're a small business, that's an enormous sum of money to come up to have an online strategy, and you've got a lot of money to pay out, and you don't really know what you're doing, and you don't know how to update images, or you don't know how to market it, so it's quite overwhelming. And so what happens is they go, oh, too hard basket, or we'll look at it again in a couple of years. So that's why we at Zeald began the Get eCommerce movement, which is GEM is our acronym. And we started off initially with 500 websites at the beginning of COVID in 2019 or 20. Yeah, it was 2019, wasn't it? And they got gobbled up really quickly. And then we thought, well, why should we stay at 500? So as an organisation, we decided actually we're going to do this forever. And not only in New Zealand, we're doing it offshore in Fiji and the Philippines now as well. So the website, so there's no upfront costs. So that's the de-risking. There's no fixed monthly fees for 12 months. And there's only a 2% success fee after that 12 months. So you've got a year of zero pressure, zero risk to really get your website back up and running or up and running. So we'll go to the next slide. So just bear with me while I do that. There's a couple of key points I want to just touch on again. You have to have skin in the game, and it takes a lot of work, right? I'm going to be really upfront with that. But so is starting up anything new in a business, right? And it's all about the content, So we look at it as, you sort of think, so you might have a small shop in Main Street, Stratford, for example, and it might be a combination of knitting and, I don't know, ornaments, right? And you think, oh, I'll never get online. Well, there's no reason why you can't get online. But what it is a really good opportunity to do is just say, looking at that scenario, you go, it's a really good opportunity when you're looking at going online is to review your business, because you've really got to think about the business as a whole. So a website is essentially the same physical store, except it is online. So you've got to think about what is your product offering? What is are you going to give it pricing structure? Is it going to be cheaper? If you sell online, are you going to, have promotions? How is that all going to work? And then, of course, it's logistics. So when you do sell a product, it's kind of like, well, you need to make sure you got that product in stock. And if you're getting it in from other places, what's your lag time? So you really have to start thinking about, logistics. And if you're out of stock, you need to update your website to reflect that, so it's a living, breathing part of your business. It's also, I've got to say, this is so often missed, is an amazing opportunity to create a customer database, because you get anyone that buys off your website to, sign up. So you start to grow this database, and then you've got this captive market. And I'm just going to say, because I live in the farm, the dogs just run out there, is about to start barking at the posties. So apologies, but that's what right. happens in the far north.
We've just had the trucks leaving here, and tooting. So sorry about that, people.
Yeah. So anyway, so you got this customer database. So for every customer that buys off your site, you get them to sign up. So that's going to grow over time. And then you've got this captive market that you can send emails to. So it might be a newsletter, it might be special promotions, it might be launching a new product. You might use them as a testing base for a new product or service. So I think that out of all of the benefits is absolutely massive. And of course, marketing.
Email is king.
It is. It really is. Yeah, and I know, like we've spoken about that before, haven't we? Like it's just. Yeah, it just cannot be emphasized enough. And of course, you've got to market your website. You can't just build a website and they shall come. It doesn't work like that. They've got to find you.
It's my specialty, Deb, the marketing side.
See? That's why we make a great team. So, and you've got to market that. And it doesn't always have to be huge amounts of money. And I know you'll probably touch on some of that a bit later. But really key, you don't just build a website and go, we're going to get 1,000 orders the next day. It doesn't work that way. No. And then really, again, like looking at your business is like, who is your customer? Because that's who you market to. What are, in fact, even make up a customer. So my ideal customer is, Deb Armstrong. She lives in a rural area, but she likes nice things. you start to think about that, because in that you can develop your marketing plan around that. And that websites
niche
aren't
it down.
exactly right. And they're not static. Websites always change. So, one of the things is you don't have a website
Because
and
one
then you never
mistake
touch
many of
it.
our online businesses make, Deb, sorry, one of the mistakes
No,
many
it's
of our
okay.
online business entrepreneurs make is they try to sell to everyone. But you can't. You've got to narrow it down and focus on your niche market. And that's where you'll get your
Absolutely. And there's no point in having, 50 visitors coming to your site a week and no one buys anything. I mean, that's irrelevant. You're better off having 10 customers and they buy something.
Yes.
Yeah, so absolutely. And so, and again, just to probably reiterate that your websites, they're not static. You don't just put them up and then leave them alone and just hope it all kind of works out. You've got to keep your products updated, your images updated, always review, take even 10 minutes every week, just look at your website and go, I don't really like that. That's a really good point, Stefan, is it? Yeah, great. So one of the other things that we actually do have, and this is why I do jump all over the place, but as part of the GEM website, so we can give you a website, the other side of that is we have GEM Academy. And what that is, it's a suite of online learning tools where you can go on and you can learn from woe to go exactly how to manage your website. So it's things like, from loading images to creating new content pages to how to market things, how to really, write compelling copy. And I think that's probably something I want to touch on again is no one wants a boring story.
No.
So things like your About Us page, be honest, be raw, be genuine, and people identify with that. And then what happens is they go, I like these people. Like when you meet someone face to face, either Zoom in these days or, face to face, you get a feel for someone. So your website, you can do that too, but it's in written word or videos.
Yes,
you might have videos.
And being authentic, isn't it? Being authentic.
Yeah, I think, that's really important. And the other thing is we wanted to be sure of is that we eliminated the fear for our business customers. And so we've got a whole team dedicated to helping our customers through this journey. So you're not alone. We'll hold your hand every step of the way. And even afterwards, when your website's live, if you've got questions or you're not sure, then you just contact our team and they're more than happy to help you. So it's a team effort. It's a team effort. Yeah.
No, that's absolutely fantastic. So Deb, just a question for any of our viewers. Do you have to have experience or tech knowledge or to be able to sort of get your website or e-commerce site up and running?
Yeah, really good point. No, not at all. Because we are here to help you along the way. The biggest challenge that the businesses will find is gathering all of the content to put in, because that's the skin in the game. That is in making sure you got good product images, making sure your pricing structure is right. What's your delivery? How much you're going to charge? What are your policies? But even if you just hand wrote most of that out and then got someone to scan it to us, we can then type it in. So no, you don't have to at all. And don't forget, there's always help available as well. So good, really good question though.
So from my understanding, from someone who's sort of new at this, so what you're saying is that Zeald can actually help this person or this sole trader or this small business actually create an e-commerce site for free.
That's exactly what we're saying. Absolutely. Yep. And we want to do that because I know, and it's really exciting, Lily, and it's actually not many things would have probably dragged me out of my semi-retirement, I'll be honest, but this was something I thought, wow, how often do you get a chance in your life to make such a difference? And who knew we were going to go into a pandemic? But in many ways, it's been a catalyst for digital transformation, because businesses literally had to shut the door. They couldn't trade. And if you didn't have an online presence already, we know what happens, don't we? You can't trade. There's no money. You can't pay your staff, can't pay your bills. Whereas,
Yes.
it was a catalyst we needed for a lot of businesses to take the step.
Many businesses, especially small businesses, had to close down during the pandemic. And it's still going on. COVID is still affecting hospitality, all sorts of businesses. In terms of small rural regions like here, Tolaga Bay, East Coast, I believe that online business is a way for us to reach that wider global marketplace. Because like here, we've got, about 800 residents, It's a small market. But online, you're talking, I don't know how many billions of people are online. And
exactly.
if you position your product or service in the right way to reach these markets, I think that's the way. There's far better survival rate then.
There is, exactly.
Just to sort of ask, in terms of service businesses, you talk about products, putting your products online. What about service businesses when you're providing a service of some sort? Can you have an online e-commerce store for that?
Look, absolutely. And again, that was we did originally start off just purely e-commerce, and then we thought, well, hang on, there's a lot of other traders out there that might be, say, have a lawn mowing business or a small plumbing business or Sparkies or, there's millions of them. And we thought, well, they're suffering in the same way as retail or hospitality are suffering. So we've expanded the offering to say, well, yes, you can actually now get a services site. And in fact, I've actually got a couple of case studies I can go through a little bit later, because what that does is it produces leads. So say it's a catering company, right? And you can't give a fixed price for Lily's birthday, and we think there's about 30 people and not sure what I want the menu to be. You can't just go, it's X amount, So, but what the services site does is it's like, Lily's having a birthday. We'd like to talk to you about the menu and what options you've got. There's about 30 people, and then they call you, and then you start having those conversations around, menus, and then obviously they give you a price. So it's slightly different because you're not literally purchasing on the website, but it feeds information, like lead information, into that business that they can then convert into a sale. So it's, thanks for raising that, because I thought I probably would forget to say that, but it's a really good point.
Awesome. Now, before I sort of lead you off track, were you finished your presentation?
I just got a couple of points. Most of them I've covered off, but I'll just go to the next slide. I just wanted to kind of reinforce how big e-commerce is. So 2019 to 2020, it was $26 trillion of trading was done online via e-commerce. And I just think that is just, I don't even know how many zeros that is, to be honest. I'll probably end up writing off the page. So it's massive, and it's worldwide. And building on the point you made before, it's not just the 800 people in a local area, it's the millions of people that live around the world. And so you think about, do you want a piece of that 26 trillion? I know I do. And it's changing the world. And I think a couple of points, like for a buyer. So what's in it for the buyer, apart from your wonderful product or services? It's convenient, it's safe, it's you can shop whenever you want. You can make decisions by doing your research online. I think we've all done that, and doing the comparisons. It saves you time because you don't literally have to go to the store. So it's easy. And I'll just go to the next slide. And a couple of benefits around if you're an owner of an e-commerce store. It's also convenient because you can set up watching Coronation Street and update your website. It's cost effective because if you're purely online, you obviously don't have the overheads of having a store. It's scalable. So you might start off, okay, like I'm pretty small. they start to get better and better. You can scale it from, having 10 products to having 10,000 products. And you can get the opportunity to do the products and services. So I think it's probably a lot more complex behind the scenes than a lot of people really realize. But it's really exciting. It's great to be part of it. So if it's all right with you, what we might do is I'll just briefly touch on some of the two case studies we've got. So I'll just move down to those in the presentation. Now, this company are based in Christchurch, which the old Church Garden Services might have been a giveaway there. So this was a young man who worked for a big landscaping company, and then COVID hit and he got laid off. So then you sit there and you go, well, I'm out of a job. I've still got mortgages to pay and kids to feed. And so he decided to branch out on his own. But it's because he's still got all the contacts from when he was working for the larger organizations. So he's normally a one-man band. But if there's a bigger job, he can pull in different subcontractors. And, it just really spoke to me because I thought that's such a brave move. And if COVID hadn't happened, I don't think he would have done it. Because, we get comfortable doing what we're doing all the time. So he's been doing that for 15 months now. And through the website, is picking up quite a large number of leads. Like we were saying, and then he rings them and he talks to them about what it is they're wanting, and he goes out and does free quote, and then converts that into sales. So if anyone watching, you're more than welcome just to jump on, Mr. Google and Google up that, and then you can have a look at the rest of the website in terms of what that looks like. Yeah, and then the other one we've got is this really great little business down in Central Otago, which is where I was originally from, so maybe that's why I looked at this one, and Scrubby Gully. So that's a couple that moved there, and they called it Scrubby Gully because of a creek that ran through the property, and they offer like preserves of all, like jams, chutneys. Then they've just gone into now actually growing and selling flowers. And they started, so again, it's Joe and James. Like, it's a couple that moved there for a lifestyle change, looked at what can we do, how can we do it, how can we make some income. And I love, the fact that they're, like it says there, they're the growers, they're the pickers, the bunchers, the makers and the sellers, so they're really invested in that. But, they are quite remote, so they don't have the opportunity to have a retail store. But it doesn't matter because they've got an online store, and they're doing exceptionally well since they've had their website. And they've got, prior to the website, most of their customer base was sort of like local and just starting to go slightly outside the local area. And now they've got people from all over the country buying their goods. So you see, it's like whether there's one of you or three of you or four of you, it doesn't matter. You can still be online. And I mean, like I mentioned at the start, so I'm taking up so much of your time, but I feel really passionate about this. So I got myself a website because I like making candles and soaps and bath salts and all sorts of things, and I really love it. And I find it, I get so much pleasure out of doing it. And I was I didn't really want to go to the market every Saturday because that takes a whole day. And I thought, oh, well, you're preaching it. So therefore I thought, no, that's what I'm going to do. So I've got my own website now, selling all of those things as well. So,
beautiful.
Possible for everyone. So anyway, that's enough about me burbling on. But
I'll jump on, Debs. I'll jump on and just
go.
say I also have a website that we've created. It's called The In Market, theinmarket.com. And did you know it's not even our own products and services? It's our own designs. But there is a way of people to sell product that they don't make. It's called print on demand.
Okay.
So what it means is if you've got a great design or a logo or you could be part of a rugby club or a netball club, you could create your own logos, put them on cups, put them on cards, put them on prints, put them on T-shirts. and then it's called print on demand. So if you put them in your shop, if anyone buys your mug or your t-shirt that you've made the design for, it gets shipped from the shipping company and the printers directly to your customer.
Yes.
Which means you don't even have to have inventory.
Gotcha.
And it's for if you're really just starting up without your own product. It's a nice, easy way of doing it. You don't make as much. The margins are smaller, but that is because you're not producing that product. But you get a cut of everything sold. But the beauty behind it is your customer from wherever they are in the world gets it delivered straight to their shop. They could buy one, they could buy 100, but it's delivered straight to themselves from the printers. So you don't do all that handling and shipping.
Fantastic.
That's another idea for people who are interested in online but don't have their own product.
Yeah. That's a really good idea. And I think sometimes it's like, people have, I've got so many ideas, I don't know which one to choose. Just pick one, put them all in a hat and just draw one out and go, right, well, that's where I'm going to start. Yeah. And that's a great initiative.
So, Stefan, you got any questions come through whilst Debs is on the line?
I got one question on YouTube about what happens if this person moves to Australia, starts a shop here and moves to Australia.
Take your website with you. There's no borders with websites. You're frozen. Am I frozen?
Sorry, Debs, you froze. What was that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just saying, if it's actually a really good question. The wonderful thing about websites is take your website with you. There's no borders. It doesn't matter. So we've got people in Australia that have our websites, because it really doesn't matter, because in the back end you can change the currency to whatever you want. You can change your physical address to whatever you want, or even if you don't want to show it, you just remove that. So it doesn't matter if you're in Australia or New Zealand or Fiji or America or Italy, doesn't matter. It's a really good question, though.
Yeah, fantastic. And if anyone is interested in getting a free e-commerce site from Zeald, what do they do, Deb?
Well, yes, it's all very well me talking about it, but let's actually show them where they can do that. So I'm just going to go to the last slide. So all you need to do is apply online, and so that's the first one. So GEM, so get e-commerce. So it's obviously www.getecommerce.com, and then just fill out the application form, and then you'll be able to complete a content form. Remembering what I said, that's the big bit of work that you will have to do. However, there's no time limit on, we expect it done. It's not like school. It doesn't have to be in by a certain date, because it makes people start to think, and they've got to get that information. And then the other side of that, in terms of if you really want to learn a lot more about how to load a website, writing good copy, even some really basic marketing skills, you can do that by joining the GEM Academy, which is obviously www.gemacademy.nz. So those are the contact details. And I really hope anyone listening got a couple of really good points out of this, because I know Lily and I, we catch up a lot, and we're both really passionate about, helping our small to medium-sized businesses all over New Zealand,
And so dear people, any of you that are interested, get that down, go and suss out that website, okay? Just from my own personal story, I've been running the Tolaga Bay Inn for over 10 years now. That is a bar, a cafe, accommodation, but I've moved into the online space, and I didn't have any techie knowledge. I'm not a techie guru, far from it. But by just going on this journey, learning, going to YouTube, going to GEM Academy, just look, listen, see how others are doing it, see how other brick and mortar like myself are transitioning into their online space. It's
Yep.
not as difficult as you think. Yes, it takes a bit of mahi. Yes, it takes a bit
Mm.
of watch, learn, listen. But it's so worthwhile in the end. Also, one big thing I'd like to add, it's all very well having a website, great to have your e-commerce site, but you must get traffic to your site.
Mm.
And so just so you know, that is a space we're rolling in at the Tolaga Bay Innovation. So if you want to learn how to create what's called organic traffic, that means instead of paying huge Facebook ads or huge Google ads, you create Facebook posts, YouTube posts, TikTok posts. Create your customer base through video and through posting, through telling your story. That doesn't cost anything. It just takes work to do it daily. Some of you might be sick of seeing my mugshot. And believe you me, I didn't want to put my mugshot online. But I have learned that is the way to create trust, to understand what you're doing, and give value. Show things. Let people know how they can get started. Let people know how they can learn things. Offer free things like Zeald, and don't fear it. We all got to start somewhere. We all have something to offer this world. We all have skills and attributes that we were given. We have skills and experience in our livelihoods that we know that others would want to learn from. So please check it out for yourself. If you want to know more about sort of the marketing side, then Haramai Tolaga Bay Innovation, or just look up Lily Stender, PM me, and I can help you with the sales and marketing side of things. So, dear Debs, is there any last words for our beautiful people that are going to watch this now or for replays?
All I would say, just get online. Don't be afraid. We're here to help. It's not as scary as you might think. It really isn't.
Yes. And look, live. This is another great way of sending a message live. Do you think I'm a master at live? No. But are we doing it? Yes.
Yes.
So if I can do it, you can do it. You know? Check it out, people. Debs, I would just like to say a big, huge thank you from our Tolaga Bay Innovation, and Percy from myself to you. I shall see you next week again.
Indeed.
We may do another live if people are interested to learn more about maybe, step by step how to get started, perhaps. So if we get enough interest, we will do it live.
Yeah, we will. Yeah.
All right. Well, look, Stefan over there, thank you very much for helping us go through the slides and things. People, you want to know more, PM us or get in touch with Deb Armstrong.
Absolutely.
Deb, we love you. Take care. Ka kite anō.
Bye.
Bye.